All rise, Mr. Speaker.
Bon après-midi tout le monde, bonnes membres, officiers et panel. Je réponds à la loi Beneficial Ownership. Bonne maman, il y a une nouvelle copie bill avec son amendement là-dedans. Il y a un amendement substantiel dans le sens qu'il amène un élément important de sa bill. Mais seulement très facile pour comprendre et pas compliqué. Donc, mon mazinet, nous sommes capables de penser à l'amendement en ordre. Moi, retourne côté honorable John Waro.
Merci, Mr. Chair. Then I have amendment to section 9. Moi, va faire sortir ça bon point. Merci. So, nous premier l'amendement aujourd'hui, le bill Beneficial Ownership Amendment Bill 2022. Il a son long title. Et il peut lire comme ça, a bill for an act to amend the Beneficial Ownership Act 2020. So, tous les restes, ils sont retirés, ils sont deleted. Le deuxième amendement, Monsieur le Speaker, peut-être il est important pour faire ressortir qui s'abonne bout là, il est dans Objects and Reasons et nous prenons une décision pour nous retirer à cause il est dans Objects and Reasons et tout les bills qui précèdent pendant ça l'année, ils servent le même format, ils retirent ça. So, nous pouvons quitter consistant avec les bills qui gagnent fait. Otherwise, si nous gagnons l'instruction avec Edge's Office, peut-être il y a changer dans les fichiers, mais pas connaître. So, nous avons besoin de l'autre amendement qui gagne trouvé le page 8 en bas clause 3 dit il dit by repealing sonoti the even by repealing the definition of sonopeti sa of après repealing.
Un instant, honorable George, un point.
Yes.
Merci, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, on va ender l'amendement dans clause D. Je ne sais pas si nous pouvons suivre même version. À cause, Clark a envoyé une version récemment et il dit nous omit all the previous ones. C'est mon voir, par exemple, dans mon clause D, B, DB4C, il y en a un amendement. Right at the bottom, c'est ça avant clause 3. Et avant ça, il y en a dans chapeau. In fact, everywhere dans sa bill, chapeau, il est censé, from the plural to the singular. Merci.
Merci. Membres et panel notés. Lesquels qui final?
Monsieur Chair, le mot version, mon papier voir ça bon amendement. Oui. Ah, ok. Est-ce que c'est mon voix? Ah, ok, sorry. Moi qui fais ça faute, mon prend the wrong one à cause c'est dans beaucoup de versions là, le mot la table. Ok. Non, je ne pas lire ça, ça revenue. This is the one. OK. Merci, mon voir sa version qui honorable Georges peut faire avec. So, nous allons continuer avec l'amendement le subclause C.
Ça veut dire ça des points qui honorable George fait dans bill hein?
Yes.
OK. Continuez.
Subclause 2. Il peut lire comme subclause 2C. 5. B1 n'a pas ça encore. Ah, OK. B1, dans mon chapeau, oui. Il y a un X qui est retiré. Après, dans le 5C, il peut lire comme ça. Provided that when the legal person is restored to the register under its respective statutory legislation, the provisions of this act shall be applicable to such legal person. Et là, nous retirons even, nous mettons including, puis continuer, for the, nous mettons period, sa following phrases, period during which it was struck off. Puis nous finissons là même. Nous allons à présent le amendment of section 3, clause 3, le page 8, D, il est comme ça, by repealing the definition of registrable particulars and inserting the following definitions. So, qui nous tire là, nous tire after the word by, nous tire the, et nous remplace repeal par repealing. Après ça, nous retire of, et après the word and, deuxième ligne, nous retire the, nous met inserting, et nous retire of, après ça, mot. Nous continuons avec D et 1, c'est un petit peu plus bas, le même page, il est comme ça, is subject to its own disclosure requirements under this act and is in compliance with sections, plural, nous mettons S, 5, 6, ça y est insertion, and 1 and 10, 3A, the bracket. Nous retirons 13. Nous continuons, Monsieur Chair.
Un moment, s'il vous plaît, honorable Pilé, il y a un point. Oui, honorable.
Merci, Mr. Chairman. On regarde la loi et 13 refer to un beneficial ownership database. À cause, nous pouvons remplacer 13 par 10.3a seulement. Should that person not be in compliance of the elements in 13 as well?
Est-ce que le panel est envié ça? Oui, yes.
Merci, Mr. Speaker. Regarding question honorable Pilé, section, if you get bien section 13 lui-même, il cause plus l'obligation FIU pour faire sa database, pour maintenir sa database, pour créer bonnes guidelines qui bonne registered legal person, legal arrangement et resident agent, il a besoin de comply avec pour soumettre toutes les informations. Mais il n'a pas vraiment l'obligation, ça bonne l'accompagner pour upload vers bioinformation. So, d'après conditions qui nous permettent pour un registrable legal person, c'est qu'il faudrait que sa registrable legal person il finit upload son up-to-date information. Et sa obligation est de voir en bas nouveau section 10.3a et section 5.6. Merci, M. Speaker.
Merci. Oui, honorable Pilé.
Merci. Merci pour la réponse. mon noté 13.1 jusqu'en 4, il dit avec l'obligation FIU. Mais 13.5, il dit responsibility for the accuracy of the information being uploaded on the beneficial ownership database shall be on the legal person. So 13.5 est relevant pour ça l'information en relation about sa registration. It's still relevant because the obligation is not FIU. It's on the legal person to provide that information. It like goes on the accuracy of the information. So therefore, il a besoin in line with 13.5, ça dit mon l'information qu'il peut provide. Et deuxièmement, 13.6, il dit a resident agent qui intentionally furnishes the wrong information. So là, il y a une liability qui est ascribed to un monde qui furnish wrong information as well about 13. Il n'est pas nécessairement dit avec this FIU. So out of an abundance of caution, à cause de paquet 13.5 and 13.6 as well. Quitte tous les trois clauses ensemble. Merci, Mr. Chairman.
Merci, panel. Yes.
Yes, merci, M. Speaker. Oui, moi, on a une proposition qui honorable Pilen fait. To be on the safe side, nous quittons aussi section 13 comme partie, condition qui devrait être comply avec. Merci.
Merci. Honorable Waro, capable de continuer?
Monsieur Chair, oui. En effet, nous arrivons au B, le page 9. Yes, nous arrivons au B, le page 9. Nous pouvons retirer un semi-colonne qui est en place.
Basé sur l'explication qui ban panéliste dans le Bills Committee, les mondiales dans un meeting, il y a un assessment qui peut currently go on et ban assessors qui peut expliquer nous ban mesures légales qui nous répondent. Now, si nous ban assessors, il raise a red flag anyway, then il mène plus questions. So to avoid the question, nous dit en bas section code even the legal person is subject to its own disclosure requirements under this act and is in compliance with sections 5, 6. On peut faire après. OK, all right, merci.
Yes, nous avons pensé à aller dans la section 9. OK, nous continuons.
Oui, Mr. Chairman, juste pour suivre. Si nous sommes dans 10, quand nous étions là, nous retirons 13, qui panel agréé qui nous quitterait. Ça veut dire compliance with sections 5, 6, de place à N, nous mettons comma, 10, 3A and 13. Non? Vraiment? Yeah, on gagne. OK, merci.
Merci, nous gagnons sa proposition, nous take it on board. So, nous allons continuer à présent avec l'amendement. Peut-être que moi, je vais en anglais à cause bénéfice legal person, such as Attorney General. We're on amendment to section 4, clause 4, C. Fourth line, authority relates. We are removing the S with relates. And then we move on to 2A. There is removal of a comma after it. We on amendment to section 5.
Oui, honorable Bilé.
Oui, mon peut dit en bas tout est ça mon offense mon y.of. In the old one. It's corrected. Okay.
OK. Merci.
Okay. Good. We go on to amendment of section 5. again, where the word chapeau is in A1, we remove the X with chapeau. Then we proceed to 3, Roman 3, under clause 5 again, where D1, it should read like this, where a nominee has been appointed or ceased to be a nominee. We've removed the word or nominator in the first line and the last line also. Number 1, D number 1, the date on which the nominee has been appointed. Again, we've removed or nominator. The same thing applies to part 2, Roman 2, the date on which the nominee ceases to be a nominee. So we have removed or nominator, has, and then in the last line, or nominator has been removed. We move now to subclause C on page 11. It says, it should read like this, in paragraph 2, by repealing the words natural person who ultimately owns or controls and substituting with the following words beneficial owner. So this is to make it consistent with the way it is being written elsewhere.
Thank you. Panel, na continue,
We move on to F on page 13. Sorry, D on page 13. In subsection 3, should read like this one, by repealing the words commit an offense, and 2, by repealing SCR 50,000 and substituting it with 150,000 Seychelles rupees. So the word it has been included here. The same thing for E, part 2. By repealing 50,000 Seychelles rupees and substituting it with 150,000 Seychelles rupees. F will read like I'm going to read now. In subsection 5, by repealing the paragraphs A and B and substituting them as follows. So we're including the word them. Again, in G, same page, by repealing subsection 6 and substituting it. We've included the word it as follows. Then we move on to H on page 14 by repealing subsection 7 and substituting it with. So we've removed as follows. Then there's a comma that should be removed underneath 7, H7. Then we move to clause 8, D, 2D, 8 to D. On page 15, it will read as follows: until such time that the records are transferred to and received by. So we include the word, the phrase received and received by. the new agent, the new resident agent. And then there is a query on section 3, second line, where it says the first schedule. So whether it is dissolved or whether we keep it as dissolves. So should we read it, it would sound better if we include if we remove dissolves by is dissolved. So I want the panel to decide on this one,
Yes,
please.
Monsieur Robert, vous pouvez adresser ça? Yes, sir, Monsieur Robert.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Pour sa provision, nous agree avec is dissolved. It will
Thank
read
you.
much better.
I think so.
Après
Yes.
ça, on a besoin de sens à l'autre bout as well, ceased to exist. Merci.
Sorry, may I catch up avec ça?
Okay. Okay.
Is dissolved or ceases to exist? Il semble moi OK là. Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
then we move on to 3B, where we have deleted the word "and" on the second line after the numbers 10, 1 in bracket. Again, on subclause 4 on page 16, we will adopt the same thing. So on the second line, after the words first schedule, we'll change dissolves to is dissolved. Okay, now we come to amendments to
Monsieur Robert.
of section 9.
Did you have your hand up? Yes, Honorable Boao, would you pause for Mr. Robert?
Merci, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, si nous mettons un petit guin par là-haut, en bas, le page 16. Le page 16, en bas, subsection 3. D. Il y en a un quotation mark at the end of paragraph D. Peut-être nous besoin retirer, côté dit to section 9.1, comma. Pour nous retirer sa quotation mark là-bas. Merci.
Okay,
Mami,
agree.
d'accord. Yes, OK, Honorable Boao, continue.
Okay, there's also a comma after applies, which should be removed. On the fourth line, B, not fourth lines. Shall I take this again? On page 17, if you start from the first paragraph, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth line, where it says subsection 3 applies, there is a comma there that should be removed. Okay, we move on to amendments of subsection 9. Now, this morning, as I pointed out, there is on-site inspection by OECD, and they have alerted the government that there is a necessity to have a provision in the law regarding every legal person or legal arrangement shall periodically review and verify its beneficial owners at such intervals as may be prescribed by the minister. So this would come in as a section B, a new section B. And since we did not have the required time to be submitted, the 72 hours. So I've brought this amendment, and I would like to evoke Standing Order 97-1 to suspend the Standing Order 72, which states that we should provide the amendment in 72 hours. This is due to the urgency of this, amendment, which is needed to ensure that we move from the gray list to the white list when the assessment is done. Thank you.
Thank you. Je suis capable de demander. Oui, sorry, c'est clair, Simon. Il aussi propose a suspension to standing orders. Do we need to vote on that, or do we go directly to the amendment? Oui, vote lequel? Is that correct? Okay. Agreed? Okay. So we take the motion for suspension. Seconded, s'il vous plaît. Yes, Honorable Naidu.
Motion
is seconded. We'll vote on the motion to suspend. Membres qui en faveur, lèvent la main, s'il vous plaît. Merci. Aucun membre qui vote contre? Non. Bien. Motion to suspend standing order pour procéder avec cet amendement. 26 membres votent pour, 0 contre et 2 membres abstiennent. Motion est approuvée par l'Assemblée. Nous avons un amendment présent. Vu qu'il y a un major amendment, we'll vote on it to make sure we... Yes? Yeah.
Merci, Monsieur. Monsieur, mon pays, l'amendement, il paraît que nous devrions capitaliser ça et non? Nous avons dit bien quoi? À cause d'un point subsection 9.1a de la loi originale, if I'm not mistaken. La loi originale, il y en a 9.1. So in the original act, there is only 9.1. There's no 9.1a. So we need to capitalize or change that message.
Honorable George?
I haven't checked the section, but the legal draftsperson is there, and I think that when it's a new section, the A is capital, but when it's a new subsection, the A is lowercase. And it's a subsection here that is being added, so it's a lowercase a. I stand to be corrected. Thank you.
Okay. Legal draftsperson, Chaubert ou en accord? Yes, sorry, madam. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, that's the correct position. If it's an insertion of a new subsection, it's a small letter. Thank you.
Honorable Pilio?
Yeah, I think that's okay. But the issue now is that in the original act, you have 9.1 already there, and then you're going to have a 9.1a. 9.1.1a. But you already have the first 9.1 is every legal person or legal arrangement, as the case may be, shall identify and verify its beneficial owners. That's 9.1 already there. Then you're introducing a B, which is, in this case, your 1A. You're basically introducing a second clause to 9.1. So why don't you have A and B rather than have 9.1A? It doesn't make sense to me. Thank you.
Yes, madam, you can address.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. What we are doing is that we are interrupting the numbering that's already existing. So between 1 and 2, we can only add 1A because it's not a paragraph. When it's a paragraph, that's when we put paragraph A and paragraph B, and that would be interrupted paragraphing within the same section. So here it's within the same subsection, sorry. So here is a different subsection that we're inserting. So it would be a 1A within the same bracket, the 1A.
Thank you. Non-clear, Lola?
No,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman, I disagree because this changes the whole concept of what we've done so far in drafting with our bills. Usually when you have, this is section 9, you've got 1A, usually it should be 1 or section 9, 1 and 1 capital A, because you're introducing a new subsection in there. It's a new element to the section. Otherwise, the way I'm seeing it, it doesn't read too well. I've seen them with capitals, but we've rarely seen them with the small letters. So I think we should harmonize, because I've noticed the same issue where we've got a new subsection 13.5, and in the reference it's 13.5 capital A, but in the amendment, when we reach section 13, we will see it's 13.5 with a small a. So I want to make sure that we are making the right cross-referencing and the bill looks drafting-wise like I've seen before. But perhaps that's the way I see things. And I'm not sure it reads well, Mr. Chairman. I don't think it reads well.
Madam, you...
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The format that I followed was just the one in the drafting manual. So I'm not sure if there is a different one apart from the one that's in the drafting manual. The capital is for an insertion of a new section. But if the House feels different, then thank you.
Just to be clear, so when the law revision happens, we'll have a 9.1, 9.1A, then 2.
Okay.
All right.
Well, if the legal draftsperson is satisfied that it goes well like this, we'll go with it. Honorable Owawo, would you go to the next point? Honorable George, sorry, yes.
Depuis bon matin, on a un blank spot pour Mr. Speaker.
Non, pas du tout, honorable. Mon PC est concentré ici.
Mon papier fait pareil, l'honorable Pilé, Mr. Speaker. Mon papier complète, mon PC mentionné. In fact, mon petit peu vient comprendre un petit peu ça que l'honorable Pilé petit. Maybe I'll say it in English. Up to now, he's right in a sense. When we insert a new subsection, we either insert it as a paragraph to an A already there, or we insert it as a new subsection. So in effect, we could have 9.2 here, and then renumber 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But I think that what the legal draftsperson is saying is, in order to avoid renumbering, and because there are a lot of references, if we look at section 9 in the original act, there are a lot of references in that section to subsections 1, 3, 2, etc., which we would have to necessarily change. So there will be several amendments just because we're inserting something. The modern way is to insert the subsection as 1A. So you don't have to renumber and change all of the other references to the existing subsections. I think that's as I understand it, the drafting arrangement that is being proposed. But generally, I think the leader of the opposition is correct. If you don't have this complication, then it's easier to just give it a paragraph or a subsection number. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Billy.
Merci, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, mon point grande offense pour ça que Honorable George dit moi au commencement. Mais c'est moi, when you're the staff, the show, everybody un petit peu zalou, so I'll forgive him that one. Mr. Chairman, à cause de la loi est important pour le gouvernement, et moi pas content de deregulation of Cecil, moi va accepter ça and I'll rest my case là. But next time, we ask that finance follows the convention that we have established. Merci, Mr. Chairman.
Merci. Si... Oui, l'autre point, moi, personnellement, je tente pour avec l'opinion legal draftsperson, à cause de ils sont responsabilités pour faire ce qui est la loi est bien. So, s'il y a une alternative, une option, we can accept what she proposed. Mayayete. Okay. Can we go back to voting on the amendment? Honorable Wao, vous capable de mettre motion pour amendment?
Okay, the amendment should be as follows, as follows. By inserting new subsection under section 9(1), this is B. By inserting new subsection under subsection under section 9(1), 1A, every legal person or legal arrangement shall periodically review and verify its beneficial owners at such intervals as may be prescribed by the minister.
Thank you. Est-ce que ça amendement y a gagné secondé? Honorable Naidu.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. L'amendement est gagné secondé.
Merci. Membre n'a voté. Membre qui est en faveur pour cet amendement, lève la main s'il vous plaît. Thank you. Moi, tout membre in voté. Vote on amendment to insert new section 9(1)A in Beneficial Ownership Amendment Bill 2022. 29 membres in vote pour, 0 contre, 0 abstention. Cet amendement est approuvé par l'Assemblée. Honorable Waro, back to you.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Consequently, there would be a reordering of the letters. So instead of B, we've got the new B, and then the old B becomes the C, old C becomes the D, etc. It goes on until G. And the new G now should read as follows. By inserting a new subsection 6 after subsection 5 as follows. So we have removed the following after the number 5. Then, Mr. Speaker.
Hold on.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, mon peut regarder si l'honorable Pan manque un petit amendement to E, the new E, qu'il y en a un definite article qui peut changer. Merci. Qui peut sortir.
Ça, vous pouvez dire in subsection 3. Yes, Honorable Waro, je crois.
Yes, it's an omission on my part. Sorry about that.
This mark ça. Oui, allez, continuez.
Yes. So we continue with subclause 7. There is a query because the legal or beneficial owner is given the right to appeal, to be heard. So in this case, should the sentence read as follows: where a person fails to comply with the subsection 6, the legal person or legal arrangement may, there's a shall here, we want to replace it by may, if the panel agrees.
Merci. Now we'll go to the panel. The director or the draftsperson. Madam Draftsperson is ready to address.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My comment is actually on the previous comment that was made. Unfortunately, we didn't get an opportunity to respond. The proposal was that by inserting a new subsection 6 after subsection 5, unfortunately, subsection 6 is not the only subsection that we are inserting. We are inserting subsections 6 to 13. So perhaps...
So, yes, Honorable Bile. Micro, Madam.
Sorry.
Mr. Chairman, there's a lack of clarity in the insertions of subsections, and I need to point this out so that I don't make an issue out of this further on. You see, I noticed the same issue when we start inserting subsections and the number and the lettering for subsections. For instance, if you go back to subsection on page 7 in B, you refer to a subsection to section 13.5A. Okay? 13.5 capital A does not exist in your amendment because you are inserting a subsection 13.5 small a. It's the insertions of the subsections that has to be looked at rather with a fine microscope to ensure that we are getting the cross-referencing right. That's what I'm saying. So can we make sure that we do that going forward now? Please.
Thank you. SS, oui.
Merci, Mr. Chair. Merci, honorable. Sa question, bon après-midi, tout le monde honorable et tout le monde qui est à l'écoute. Sa question, section 7, le page 19, ça m'a mis au soir Charles. C'est une discussion que nous avons avec OECD. Et la discussion aussi qui nous mentionne, qui nous besoin faire, c'est que si sa personne fait, the legal person a besoin capable en un pouvoir pour les capable en legal action. So this is why que nous nous proposons ça Charles de place armée. So ça y a une grande discussion que nous avons discuté avec OECD aussi là.
OK. Mom, yes, Honorable George.
Merci, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, laisse-moi retourner le point. Let me do it in English. Let me go back to the issue of subsection 6. I hear what the legal draftsperson is saying. Actually, we're not inserting a new subsection 6. We're inserting a whole number of subsections. So in effect, what we should say is by inserting after section 5 the following, pretty much as it was before, yes? So I think that is accepted, and it's well spotted. If I may now go to subsection or subclause 7, the may and the shall. I have raised this. I raised this issue with the Bills Committee indirectly. You see, if we look at, and I understand what the SS Payet says. Let me do this in Creole because ça il concerne population et non pas drafting. Dans l'intention, sa série proposition est claire et il sorti dans clause 8, subclause 8, le page 20. Et là, il dit clair qu'il y a une action qui prend pour besoin, il y a une action qui peut dissuader, qui peut dissuasive. Alors, il y a besoin d'une action qui peut empêcher répétition et breach. Et ça, nous comprenons. That's the goal. Mais le problème avec ça, c'est que les moments qui vous donnent un droit of being heard, qui peut donner en bassette, the moment you give a person an opportunity of being heard, ou pas capable de dire que automatiquement, après qu'on écoute lui, ou pour prendre une action. À cause si satisfait ou que vous pas devez prendre une action, you can't hem yourself in. Il y a un petit peu pareil, et excuse-moi, il n'a pas rien pour faire avec politique, mais si ça peut être coup d'État, en 1977, il y a un article dans Nation qui dit under the new administration, everybody will be given a fair trial before being found guilty and sentenced. Et ça, c'est exactement ça qu'ils ont pu faire. Ils ont pu dire, nous avons écouté tout, mais seulement nous pouvons trouver coupables et nous pouvons prendre action contre tout. So that is why Monty disait if the giving of an opportunity of being heard is to be meaningful, ou pas capable de follow it up by automatiquement par une action.
So, well, ce qui peut dire, c'est que the only other way would be to say, if you are not satisfied when it's yours, then, mais ça fait aller compliqué. Sorry, honorable Billy.
Merci, Monsieur Chairman. Il paraît mon honorable George, plus content coup d'État qui moi. Monsieur Chairman, look, si vous pouvez dire pour dire que vous avez accès, et vous pouvez mettre l'obligation, le tout bandi moun et une entité qui ne forme pas la loi, then nous avons besoin de faire montrer l'expression qui vous sait about action qui besoin de gagner pas. Si vous quittez les hanging in the air, then il n'est pas fait sans vous mettre une mesure qui est dissuasive. No action is also an action. Si, par exemple, de ça, il dit que shall take action after giving the legal or beneficial owner an opportunity of being heard. After giving them an opportunity of being heard. So, il n'est pas capable de prendre action après, avant qu'il donne une opportunity of being heard. OK? Et présent, si, after being heard, qui satisfie sa entité, qui sont quelque chose en ordre, whatever, then OK. Mais on comprend côté honorable Georges prévenir à cause. Le problème, c'est que si vous dites obligatoirement besoin de prendre action, il vient une espèce de qualité misalignment, of ça dit quelque chose. Of l'intention, ça coule faire. Et présent, à cause de son action qui peut prendre, et puis on peut ça dit mon transfer son rights, dans quelque chose qui en a, assign by interest, dans quelque chose qui en a, voting rights, then c'est ça qui vient à issue. À cause de ça, il ne peut pas affecter une compagnie internationale, il peut affecter toute compagnie. So, je crois pour bénéfice gouvernement, pas gouvernement, mais pour bénéfice de la loi. Nous besoin qu'il chale. Nous besoin qu'il chale. For now, nous besoin qu'il chale. Mais c'est mal, peut-être que ça va nécessaire pour faire son bout de clause en bas plus clair. Qui si ça dit mon satisfait sa legal person, sa personne qui fait tout compliance satisfait bon critère, then ou pas prendre action plus.
Thank you. Nous allons retourner au panel pour guetter. SS Payet.
No, merci, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, this is why nous devons discuter qui nous fait ici, qui demain nous pas dans une situation à cause pareil, moi quoi, tous les arguments peuvent dire que pour nous feel que the shall should be there, mais avec quelquefois nous fait ici qui ça langage qui l'État nous permettait, nous allow ça legal ou ça beneficial owner pour autres on a ça l'opportunité. So, je ne sais pas si quelquefois nous avons besoin sans un peu ça langage, mais c'est moi we feel comfortable avec Charles.
Yes, nous passons côté CEO. CEO chez Samsung.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Bon après-midi, l'Assemblée, bon après-midi, tout le monde honorable. Mon regarde langage, par exemple, c'est dans l'autre loi qui nous administre, qui est the FSA Act. Maybe if I'm allowed to read, mon pensée pour dire the shall should perhaps be there. Mais the FSA Act, il y a un similar procedure qui dit a licensee aggrieved with the issuance of a condition shall have the right to show cause before specified dates, and the authority shall take into account the concerns of the licensee in its decision whether to continue. So, imagine peut-être, pas essayer proposer, change a bit the langage because a legal person will be required to consider issue cause. The cause needs to be considered and pas effet accompli. So, that's ça se marie avec honorable Zos.
Any proposal qui m'a nous résoudre ça? Honorable George.
May I propose, Mr. Chair, where a person fails to comply with subsection 6, the legal person or the legal arrangement shall, unless after giving the legal or beneficial owner an opportunity of being heard, and upon being satisfied, whatever, shall take action. Or si vous mettez comme ça, ou donne une opportunité, it's only if you are satisfied that you don't take action, but in every other case you do take action. Et là, donc, là, nous avons ça shall. Mais it becomes a very unwieldy subsection.
Yes, wording even un peu compliqué.
Okay. Or where a person, having been given an opportunity of being heard, fails to satisfy the, whatever it is, authority, and to comply with subsection 6, then shall, etc. So there are ways of getting there, mais difficult on the hoof.
So, you know, mon parent, ça qui on dit dernière chose, à cause on dit, where a person, after being given the opportunity of being, it's not the person that is being given the opportunity of being heard, but the legal or beneficial owner. See what I mean? So, ou dernière proposition, pas semblé vraiment assez. Excuse-moi, mon bégueté, si nous sommes capables de servir pour une façon qui nous ne servi avant. That is, we go through the rest of the law, the rest of the amendments, et pendant break, nous propose Bills Committee, il assise avec panel et il work out si autres les un wording différent qui est capable de satisfaire ça. Mon pas connaît. Si ça, yes, no Billy.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to lead all. Comme si the clause is the legal person or the legal arrangement shall take action after giving the legal or beneficial owner an opportunity of being heard. So, il prend action après sa beneficial owner. So, son action est capable n'a pas action.
Oui.
OK? Son action n'a pas action. Présent, il dit ou présent, s'il prend action quand il besoin, par exemple, mettre restriction. Then he furnish the legal or beneficial owner in writing the decision. Vous comprenez? So the clause is correct. There's, je comprends concernant la chose qui il laisse un petit gray area pour une spécialité comportement. Mon style explique ou style pour action. Mais the clause is clear. No action is an action, and the action taken, you shall know. You get to know what the decision is. So I don't see anything wrong with the clause.
Oui, mon suivre, on a pilé. Et mon quoi, il imply que si on donne du monde, pas, the opportunity of being heard, you have to take into account, mais seulement pas connaître si ça implication est assez fort dans la loi. So, honorable George,
non, moi, je suis d'accord avec vous, Mr. Chair, qui nous continuons, and then in the meantime, nous allons travailler dans quelque chose. Mais non, mon t'imagine sa proposition, l'honorable Pile, but it doesn't work here because the actions are all listed immediately after. A, B, C, D, A, B, A1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and B are all positive actions. N'a pas une negative action là. Well, that's the problem. Il donne nous la liste d'actions qu'on peut prendre. Il n'a pas no action là-dedans. Unless qu'il nous introduce no action as an action, which doesn't make sense.
Okay. So, what about sa proposition qui nous continue? Et après, Bills Committee avec panel est capable de sort out un wording. Si m'y insister, le garder, nous sommes capables finalement pour un vote. Yes, SS Payet.
Mr. Chair, merci. Quelquefois, juste pour nous refer back sa language dans section 7 qui nous peut causer, nous devons imaginer aussi que nous devons refer back to section 6. So, Paris peut dire dans sa proposition, l'amendement. Dans section 6, il dit que within 30 days, a person receive a notice qui under subsection 5. OK? So, si dans sa bout de section 7 aussi, peut mentionner, si fail dans section 6, this is where qui action after giving sa legal or beneficial owner pour lui have opportunity to be heard. So, il y a un élément qui m'a quoi, this is where qui m'a quoi, qui we feel ça mot, OK aussi.
Yes, on a appelé.
Merci, Mr. Chairman. Vous comprenez? Moi-même, je vais dire comme ça. On gagne 30 jours pour compléter avec une notice qui est min koto. Ou pas compléter avec sa notice de 30 jours. Ça qui s'est pédi ou besoin expliquer à cause ou pas capable de comply avec sa notice là rendu. All right? So you have to explain why you've not been able to comply with the notice for 30 days. Now, after you've not complied and you explain, if your explanation is clear, then it's okay. The issue here, Mr. Chairman, is not the non-compliance. It's the restrictions that come with the non-compliance. And that's where I know I can see Honorable George being concerned. Because he's concerned because the restrictions are, you are placing restrictions on the right to transfer or assign shares or other interests. You are placing restrictions on voting rights. You are placing restrictions on the right to acquire further shares in addition to shares already held. So, to me, if we have a law where in other circumstances somebody doesn't comply with that law and they have to face the consequence of that non-compliance, why should in this one, should we create a derogation for somebody who fails to comply with
Yes.
something and that there's no equality of law then?
Yeah, OK. Mon parle compliqué argument, mais c'est moi, est-ce qu'ils sont capables de se demander pour get section 8 et get si y aider. À cause section 8 dit any action taken under subsection 7 shall be appropriate and dissuasive. Ça veut dire the purpose of section 7 is for appropriate and dissuasive action. Mais dans ce cas, shall take action, il ne peut pas tenir à cause the person is obliged to take only appropriate and dissuasive action. Oui, qui ça il met une limite, tout ça qui ça dit Monique pas faire. Il est capable appropriate action. Il est capable si c'est un notice to comply or something de mon opinion. Mon pas connaît moi peut dire c'est vite membre pour guetter si section 8 subsection 8 EAD. Sorry, yes.
Mr. Chairman, when you read Section 8, you see that the whole host of sections, they relate to one another. So first of all, you have a period of 30 days, right? So 30 days, no compliance, then under Section 8, appropriate and dissuasive action is taken against you, okay? Then read 9. In 9, you have 21 days further.
So
you have 21 days further in 9, so which means altogether you have around 51 days to ensure your compliance. So, in a lot of other cases, un créole ordinaire, là, il gagne pini pour quelque chose, il gagne 5 jours, ou gagne, par exemple, avec la police, pour le mettre aussi de belle. Combien de jours on a? Mais pour comprendre, nous pouvons 30 jours. So, appropriate dissuasive action has got to be taken pour empêcher une compagnie de réacter de n'importe quelle façon. I think, pour moi, Charles, il restait basé le fondement sa qualité principe. Merci.
Merci. OK, nous avons besoin de résoudre ça. Si n'a pas aucun accord, c'est quelque chose qui nous va proposer, c'est qu'il panel, il y a 6 avec Bills Committee, et c'est regarder sur les gardes, ça qui là, ou bien faire aucun changement. Ça, c'est quelque chose qui nous va proposer pour nous get over the obstacle. Panel est d'accord? OK. Well, le panel est d'accord avec la loi, oui, mais même si y en a... Ou on souvent dit c'est même qui comptait.
Non, Mr. Chairman, guettez. On souvent dit que moi, comme mon content dit ça. On souvent dit que moi, comme pour dire, on aura pilé. Si on n'a pas l'amendement, nous avons besoin de move on. OK,
oui.
So, pour prendre un peu aux paroles, si y a l'amendement de l'autre côté, nous move on. That's all I can say, Mr. Chairman. Panel est d'accord que sont la loi, nous pouvons force panel pour son la loi.
Non, mais il y en a l'amendement, mais il mettait l'amendement.
Mais panel pas
d'accord. Nous pas d'accord et panel
nous pouvons force panel pour tomber d'accord avec mais. Pour ça, moi, on va défendre panel les autres.
OK, nous avons procédé. Qui panel avec Bills Committee,
Oui.
il regarde les fait aucun changement. Sinon, nous sommes capables d'aller avec l'opinion panel, si je suis d'accord. OK, honorable Waro, on va continuer.
Monsieur Chair, ça veut dire ça, whole subsection là, 7, nous va
Tenir la même.
tenir, oui.
Yes.
So we go to subsection 8 now. It should read like this. Any action taken under subsection 7 shall be appropriate and dissuasive so as, and include some so as, to compel compliance. Après, nous mettons comma là. Nous retirons ça comma là. And a record of the action taken in that regard shall be maintained.
OK, mon quoi, panel pas objecté.
We go to amendment of section 10, clause 9. A, by repealing the marginal note. So
Yeah.
we have included the word the before marginal.
OK, mon pas
Then we go on to
levé.
D, 2, D Roman 2, on the same page. Second line, after the word substituting, we have included them.
OK, mon pas aucun main qui levé. Carry on.
We go on to F on page 22. The same thing in line 1, 2, 3, 4. After the word substituting, we have included them. G, we've started the sentence by inserting. 4A, just after that, after the word dissuasive, we have added so as to compel compliance. Again, the extra comma after compliance has been deleted. And we move on to the fourth paragraph, where it says, the legal person or legal arrangement shall inform the competent authority in writing through its resident agent of the failing to comply or the action taken. So we've included the here. And then before the last line, after the word or, comply, or, of, we've included the word of having taken the action. We move on to J on page 23. B in subsection 8, B. It reads as follows: in paragraph B, by repealing full stop and substituting therefore the word. So we've removed replacing after the word and then after the word therefore, we've removed of, and then after the word, we've removed with. And then C, small c, in bracket, the person becomes aware of an error or inaccuracy in the beneficial ownership information formally uploaded. So we've removed the word formally, so it should be information uploaded on the database. We move on to amendment of section 11 under clause 10, 2, on page 24. in paragraph E by repealing the full stop at the end or and substituting therefore. Then we remove of. Go to amendment of section 12 under clause 11. We start the sentence in subsection 1. So we remove the A. We start in subsection 1 by inserting after the words, if any beneficial owner, the words, or registrable legal person. And then we include the word and after that. The next line, we've removed B. Remove in section 1. Continue by inserting after the words beneficial owner, the words or registrable legal person. So we continue on page 25 under clause 12. A, if we count the lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth line. So after the word substituting, we have included the word them. And then we go on to C by inserting after.
Sorry, yes, pause. Yes, Honorable Pile.
Amendment to section 13, the new insertion of the clause 5A. I want to take the panel back to cross-referencing to this section, which is done in an amendment to section 2 on page 7. You will note that in B, in subsection 2, your referencing is subject to section 13(5) capital A. Are you seeing that? Okay. You go back to page 7, B, you say in subsection 2, where you amended the word chapeau, subject to section 13(5) capital A. Correct? You can see it? All right, you see it there. Now, you then go down to page 13. At the top of the page, with the requirements under section 13(5) capital A again. Can you see that? Okay. Now, when we go to your page, to the amendment to section 13 itself, there is no 5 capital A.
Yes, Madam Draftsperson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The citation that has a capital letter A is an error, and it can be changed to a small letter A.
So change to small a.
So we have to change both citations in at the top. Honorable, were you picking up? On page 7.
Yes,
Okay.
okay, go on.
Thank you.
Yes, go on. It should be a small a. Okay, thank you. Thirteen. Okay, good. I've got it here.
Okay. Well, merci, we've dealt with that.
Okay,
Missionary
so
clause 12, Honorable.
proceed to subsection C. It says by inserting after subsection 5, the following new subsection, because this is not in the Principal Act. Then we go on to amendments to section, we go on to clause 13, amendment to section 14. So in 2, Romans 2, it should read like this: A, by deletion of a hyphen and substituting it with a semicolon. Then B, by repealing subparagraph 1 and 2. So we've removed the and of. Then we go on to insertion of new sections under clause 14, 2, on page 27. For the purpose of this section, the terms financial institution and designated non-financial business or professional or profession shall have the same meaning. Instead of defined as, which we've deleted, we've included given to them, and then deleted the word respectively, which goes after.
Honorable George.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I wonder why we deleted respectively. I think it probably makes sense because there are two definitions there: financial institution and designated non-financial business. So maybe shall have the same meanings given to them respectively under, and in any event, they're respectively under two different, no, I see why. No, given to them respectively, there are two of them. So the respectively refers to the two definitions rather than to the Act, the AML-CFT Act. So I would keep respectively. I would be inclined to keep respectively because there are two meanings given to them respectively under that Act.
Yeah. Yes, Honorable Billy.
Mr. Chairman, there should be one meaning because I think the meaning taken was from the FATF definition for the NFBP when we passed the AML-CFT Act. And then we amended, when we passed the AML, it's one act, Honorable George. It's AML-CFT. It's one act.
So,
there's not two acts.
Je suis capable de lever une question, juste pour clarifier ce que vous pouvez dire. Est-ce que vous pouvez dire the term financial institution applies to Anti-Money Laundering Act, but the term designated financial business applies to financing of the... Is that... No? Sorry.
No.
Okay, I withdraw my part.
There is one Act, and we both agreed on that. The Act is called the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering the Financing of Terrorism Act 2020. Okay? AML-CFT Act is one Act. But there are two definitions. One is financial institution,
Yes.
and the other one is designated non-financial business or profession.
Oui.
So if the word respectively refers to the meanings given to these two words, then respectively should be there. If the word respectively referred to one or more laws, then it should not be there. But I think in this context, the word respectively refers to the two meanings rather than the act.
OK. Moi, suivez-vous, Honorable Boiro, ou capable d'accepter ça?
Yes, this was actually the debate we were having, whether it is being referred to the Act, the Anti-Money Laundering Act, or whether it is being referred to the two meanings above. So I would like the panel to clarify this, and then...
OK. Panel est capable d'adresser? Si vous êtes satisfait avec respectively, là, Honorable SS Payet.
Merci, Mr. Chair. Merci, Honorable. Oui, Mr. Chair, nous agréons pour nous maintenir respectively à cause il y a dans la loi, mais c'est moi des définitions pareilles, bon, Honorable mentionné financial institution, et après ça, l'autre designated non-financial business or profession. So for us to maintain.
So, c'est la loi. Yeah. Merci. Honorable Boiro, nous OK?
OK.
All right, on continue.
Then 14B, same page. Second line, after the word request, we remove 4. And then 14C, 14C, yes, 1B, remove and after the word penalty. And then in the next paragraph, we have removed C, and we have included and. So, and should be there. And an opportunity to make a written representation to show cause. And comma, within a period of not less than 14 days after the date of the notice. Why a penalty should not be imposed. And then full stop.
OK. Nous pouvons aucun nom qui levé, honorable, qu'on va continuer.
Then we go to page 28, 4, subsection 4. After the word penalty, the last line, we remove the word amount. And then 17A, 1, fourth line, after the word for, we remove the comma and we put in order to carry out. Then we move on to 17B on page 29, B, 17B2. We delete the word the. We start the sentence with a, capital A direction, issued. So we've included the word issued before the word under. We move on to amendment of section 18 under clause 17. A, by, we remove the deleting. So by deleting the marginal note, and then second line, and substituting it with transitional provision. So we've removed the marginal note. B.
Un instant. Oui, honorable Billet.
Just clarify. The BO Act is already promulgated. So why do we have a 12 months from the promulgation of which act are you talking about? But the act, you're talking about the act. The act is already promulgated. You're not giving them 12 months. It doesn't make sense for you to say 12 months from the amendment. You have to be clear. Because as we read now, the BO Act has been in effect since 2020, no? So your 12 months is already lapsed. When the law revision picks up your amendment, 12 months from the promulgation of this act would mean 12 months from when the act was promulgated. So you have to reword the clause if you want to make the savings exclusively fair.
Panel. Yes, Madam Rasmussen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The idea that we were using was that this also, based on the short title, is an amendment act as well. And as opposed to using principal act, which is what we had said refers to the promulgation of the existing law, we had said this act making reference to this amendment act. That's why we had used this act. If you feel it's not clear, then perhaps
Yes,
because
Honorable
this
Pile.
this amendment is also an act on its own, despite the fact that it's an amendment act of an already existing act. Thank you.
Oui, ou yes, Honorable Pile.
I understand that, but when law revision will happen, will not this act become part of the main act? Will it not be included in the main act? Will it therefore not be consistent with the fact that the main act has already been promulgated? I fail to see how you can say that you have a subset of something happening within a period of time when the main issue is already happening. The BO Act is already being promulgated. It's already in effect. I get your point how you want to save this particular issue here. I think there has to be a better wording that we can use to achieve what you want to achieve. Because otherwise, to me, it doesn't make sense. To me, we are usurping the way we were making laws in this country. Now we are giving promulgations in amendments. And that would be setting a bad precedence.
Yes, panel, Madam Draftsperson.
The promulgation here is just the publishing. So it's not the coming into operation of the law. Here it's just the publishing of this particular act. Okay.
Okay, oui.
I have more business disagree because we are not amending another law. We are amending the Beneficial Ownership Act, which has been in effect since 2020. So when you refer to the act here, you don't refer to this Amendment Act. You refer to this act. This act is referred to in what? Yeah, but you already have a BO Act. But this is the first time we've done this. I don't recall us doing it before. But I'm not comfortable with giving the government this kind of power, because then this would mean that the government will change the commencement of many things through just amendments. And this is not something we should be doing. I think government should stick to what we have given it in terms of its mandate. That you are clear that if you want to do something, you want to save something, you save that particular thing and make it clear in what you want to say it. If you want to say it's in relation to this amendment, then you say it in relation to this amendment. The provisions of the amendment in this Amendment Act, if the person who fails to comply with the provisions in this Amendment Act shall have 12 months to comply to this. Because what you are doing now will apply to all the other enactments that will come before us. And I'm not comfortable with that.
Yes, Madam.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Honorable, if you go to Section 2, we had said in Clause 2, actually, we had said in Clause 2, the amendment of Section 2, that this section is amending the Beneficial Ownership Act 2020. And then we put a parenthesis that says, hereinafter referred to as the Principal Act. So if we do not say the Principal Act, we are not referring to the existing law. If we say the Principal Act, that's when we are referring to the already existing law. And when it comes to the promulgation, promulgation just means the publishing of this law. So when this law will be published, being the amendment, it is not directly related to the coming into operation of the already existing law of 2020. Okay.
S'il vous plaît, Honorable.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, with all due respect to Kaajimo, s'il vous plaît, but if I don't agree with this, I don't agree with this. You give Honorable George the same leeway, just give me the same leeway. Please.
Différence, c'est qu'il a un amendment. Hein?
But he didn't have an amendment either.
Il tient un amendment.
No,
OK.
On
nous termine, s'il vous plaît.
So let's not debate that.
Look, entrer dans l'argument clarifié.
Under the IGPA, the amendment to an act is part of an act, correct? All right? So then this becomes part of the act. You see, so
Madam,
my issue, Mr. Chairman, then on no fair members affair, we can meet after this and we can clarify this matter the same way you express this. Because mon pas confortable pour donner au gouvernement un pouvoir aujourd'hui qui m'ont réalisé le gouvernement est capable de faire quelque chose pour une force compliance pour un particular issue, un gouvernement qui a une toute majorité dans l'Assemblée et nous peut sens pour essayer dans cette convention que nous faisons. So I'm not comfortable with doing that. No. So if I would ask your indulgence, même we could extend sa clause avant, let's do it in this one as well. Merci.
Well, on n'a pas d'objection qui nous considère sa clause, mais ces membres n'ont pas accepté prémisse que vous pouvez faire ça, c'est à cause vous pas envie dans le gouvernement ça pouvoir, moi on n'a pas sa qualité préoccupation. So, Madam Draftsperson, what do you think? Do you wish to review this, or you want to continue?
We are comfortable with the way it is.
Yeah. Vu que, maman, quoi, ça y a différents problèmes avec sa wording. À cause ça y a un problème wording, ça y a un problème qui l'intention nous devrait donner sa acte. Et mon pas envie revoir, à moins qu'il membre, il a envie de voter, mon pas envie de revoir l'intention qui nous mettait dans sa acte. So, nous carry on.
Mr. Chair, on amendment of section 18, clause 17, A and G, by deleting the marginal note transition provision with an S which is misspelled, so, and substituting, we delete the word marginal note and we include it with transitional provision. Then B, by inserting, we remove the, by inserting the following new subsections. Again, we remove insertion of, we put inserting the new following, inserting the following new subsections. Comma, and numbering the existing subsection as 1. Okay? Then we move on to the last amendment on page 30, clause 17, A, in paragraph 1B, by deleting incorporated and substituting it. So we've included the word it with incorporated.
Yeah, okay.
So Mr. Chair, we'll in the break we'll see what should be done with the clause that we had, that you have access to relook at it, and then we'll come back for the vote.
Oui. Bon, il est qui nous propose, Honorable George.
Merci, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, nous avons une proposition pour ça, l'amendement, cette fois qu'il va permettre nous pas besoin de retourner.
Okay.
Est-ce qu'ils sont capables de proposer là?
Yes, please. Yes, si nous sommes capables de settle ça.
Page 19. Page 19, clause 8, subclause 7. Where a person fails to comply, commencez. Here is my proposal. Where a person fails to comply with subsection 6, mais avant qu'il m'en fasse ça, laisse-moi mentionner, Mr. Speaker, après qu'il s'en a fait, aucun des gens qui n'est pas satisfait avec aucune action est capable d'appeler to the Supreme Court, et nous voyons ça dans subclause 10, contre aucune restriction ou bien cancellation, et la Cour n'a fait aucun l'ordre qui a envie, mais contravention, et c'est ça qui n'emmène moi faire sa proposition, contravention, il emmène un pénal de 650 000 roupies ou bien 200 000 roupies, 1 an en prison. Donc, il y a assez important. So, mon proposition, par subclause 7, c'est where a person fails to comply with subsection 6, the legal person or the legal arrangement shall remove, take action, shall, after giving the legal or beneficial owner an opportunity of being heard, insert, and unless satisfied with any explanation provided, take action and furnish to the legal, etc., etc., etc. Okay? So,
Thank you.
the shall remains,
Oui.
et l'obligation, par exemple, c'est le sadimoun pour lui satisfaire son explication. Merci.
Thank you. Est-ce que le panel est en accord avec ça?
I Thank you, Mr. Chair. We are comfortable with that proposal.
Thank you. On a appelé mon quoi ça imite tout critère qu'utile. Nous accepter ça? Yes, please. Final word.
Merci, Monsieur Chairman. On n'a pas grand issue avec ça, seulement, il faut le noter, honorable George, il y a un FBP, hein? Is going to be a reporting entity, ban avocat, ban des autres gens qui dans, ban accountants pour ban reporting entities. So, il est important, non, pas dire ça pour honorable, on peut dire important pour qui, dans la période de prescription que les autres pays, ils peuvent donner ça 12 mois. Pour tout ça, ban di moun comply avec sa new subsection là, 51A. Ils fait l'explication et awareness avec sa ban di moun. À cause sa ban fines, il s'est conséquent que sa ban di moun pour mettre en bas là. That's why moi tu peux argumenter les points là pour donner compliance dans 12 mois, moi les assurer qu'il est ou saute là dehors, sa ban di moun il a compétence pour faire pour assurer sa compliance qu'il a. À cause on dit ou même on dit international companies qui FSA maintain 90%. Pas de problème. Local companies combien? Gros problème avec. So, dès que qui dit avec ça va quelque chose. So, nous pas qui nous peut passer la loi, nous peut faire la vie nous propre du monde plus difficile là dehors. Merci monsieur Chairman.
Thank you. Anyway, mon quoi vous pouvez noter, il en dehors ça la loi est dans l'opération, so nous capables d'accepter. Bon, nous finissons avec un bon amendement. Dernier amendement n'a pas l'homme qui est levé. Et si leader de l'opposition qui peut arguer ça point et il est d'accord avec, so nous sommes capables de passer dans le stade de l'Assemblée pour nous terminer avec sa bill. Leader business gouvernement ou paré pour une motion pour third reading?
Merci, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, about 76N new standing orders, mon move qui est Beneficial Ownership Amendment Bill 2022, as amended, et quand il est une troisième fois. Merci.
Motion en gagne secondaire, s'il vous plaît, honorable Isfahan.
Merci, Mr. Speaker. Motion gagne secondaire.
Merci. Motion en gagne secondaire, membre qui en faveur, lève la main, s'il vous plaît. Merci. Aucun membre qui vote contre? Le formal third reading Beneficial Ownership Amendment Bill 2022 as amended. 28 membres votent pour, 0 contre, 0 abstention. Bill inapprouvé par l'Assemblée. Madame Clark, nous va appeler pour faire formal third reading.
Merci, Mr. Speaker. This act may be cited as the Beneficial Ownership Amendment Act 2022. Merci, Mr. Speaker.
Merci. Bill in passé. Nous, mon quoi, ça panel peut quitter nous là, à cause d'un l'autre panel pour l'autre Bill Revenue Administration. So, nous souhaitons au revoir et bonne continuation. Nous arrêtons au travail 4 heures pour Revenue Administration Amendment Bill. Merci.